Hello, my name is Aaron Bailey, and I'm the Voiceware Product Manager here at PhoneSuite. This video is intended for the installers of our newer Voiceware Express installation. And what we're going to be doing in this video is taking a quick look at the configuration side of the system and some of the options you can change there. So let's dive in. In order to get to the configuration side of the system, you're going to need to have a laptop and plug that into the Voiceware network. What I mean by that is the Voiceware system is set up and it has a side of the network that has all your SIP phones on it. That's the side of the network you want to plug into. In fact, you can plug directly into the switch that's in the phone room and plug a cable into your laptop, and then you'll be able to get onto the network that way. Secondly, you're going to need the IP address of the Voiceware server, and that's something that it could vary depending on location. So you're going to want to get that and put that into your web browser. You can see here in this case I'm using anna.voiceware.com as an example. Your example will look something more like a 172.16 something address. So you want to get that and put that into your web browser, and then you can access the browser console from there. In fact, it'll probably be a 10 dot something address. Regardless, once you log in, the first thing you're going to get is a screen that looks like this, and you're going to want to click on configuration. If you do nothing and wait long enough, it'll go to browser console automatically. So if you get to a screen that looks like this, it looks like the browser console login, you want to go back and then click on configurator. And then once you're here, you're going to enter the username and password. If you don't have the username and password, you're going to want to contact PhoneSuite support, and we'll provide that for you. And then log in. All right, now that we're logged in, I want to take a moment to give you some layout of the land and a couple of quick tips before we dive into our couple of topics here. So number one, all of the links right here in this black bar at the top, these are the different pages you'll go to manipulate the hotel settings. So for example, the users page is where all of the employees at the hotel are listed. Things like the GM and the front desk accounts, those are all listed here. The hotel rooms are going to be listed under the rooms page. The dial plan is where we're going to go and manipulate all of the system extensions. So numbers that people will dial to get voicemail or to send a wake-up call, things like that. The one thing that I want you to remember here, on all of these pages, there's this blue little question mark. So if you ever have a question on anything about this page, click on this question mark, and it will open up a new tab and display all of the information regarding that screen you're on. So for example, I was on users, and here is all the information about users. If I were on a different page, say rooms, and click the blue question mark, it would be the page about rooms. So that's going to be a great resource for you, as I won't be able to cover everything in this video. And if you need additional help or just curious about what a feature or function does, that help button can really help you out. Regardless, let's dive into a couple of the common things that you're going to need to do on an installation. The first thing I want to look at is how to change someone's name. So for example, here we have Aaron, we have front desk, we have some other people. Normally, these users that you'll see here would be more generic, like FD1. You may see an FD2, you may see a GM, and each user has a name associated with them. So for example, Aaron Bailey here, James Smith, which is just some random name. And in some cases, these may be wrong or maybe misspelled. So let's take a look at how you fix that. Very simple. You're just going to want to click on the user that you're editing here. And then the first and last name are fields right at the top. You would just enter or edit the information and then click save. There's one other spot though that you may need to edit. If the username is correct here, but you go and you look at the phone, and the phone itself has an incorrect name, or the name is just displayed oddly. Sometimes for someone with a longer name, the the phone itself doesn't have enough space to print out the entire name. So it'll truncate it and it may look funny. So in that case, what you do is go to the devices page right up here. And under devices, this is where all of the SIP-based rooms and SIP-based admin stations, aka all the phones on your system, are going to be listed. One thing that you can do is right now we have 45 entries here. And so you can see there are only 10 listed on this page. You can page through here, or I find the easier thing to do is simply expand the list to 50 or 100, however many you're working with, and then just scroll down the list to find the people you want to edit. The other thing that you can do that may be even easier is just search for the user in question, or device in question, or extension. So if I needed to edit my phone, I would just type in Aaron, and then it's going to display only the phone that I wanted to look at. And then what we do here is same as before, click the little link. And a lot of phones get the display for what's on the physical phone from what we call the friendly name. So if this is unacceptable, what you can do is you can, for example, take the last name out and click save. And now, when I reboot the phone, and that's an important point, you'll need to reboot the phone, but once I reboot it, the display name on my phone should now just change to Aaron instead of Aaron Bailey. So that's how to change names. Back in the users section, you might have also seen that we have some other info that we can change if needed, which include the person's email address for voicemail to email. In this case, I don't have one in there. You can also change the user's password. You would need to log in as the admin in order to do that, or better yet, have the user log in themselves to change their password, but they can do it here. You can also change outbound caller ID here as well. So next, let's take a look at extensions and some of the things that we can manipulate there. So if I go to dial plan is where I'm going to have all of my system extensions. And this is everything. So this is all incoming numbers and all system internal extensions. So let's say that I want to change the extension you would dial in order to set a wake-up call. So that's simple enough. We're going to go up here to search, and we're going to type in wake. And in this case, we don't have a wake-up call extension even set up. So let's take a look at how to set one up. So I'm going to go up here to add extension. The number here is what I want to dial in order to get to the wake-up call setup. Note that if I try and enter a number already in use, it'll tell me so and won't allow me to save this entry. And it even gives you suggestions on something else you can try. So let's say that we want *55 for wake-up call setup. Then under your extension type, you're going to open this, and if you click and then start typing, so I just hit the W key, it'll auto go to the first entry with W as the first letter. You could also just scroll through the list and find wake-up call setup. Then click save. And now we have wake-up call setup as *55. Now any user on the system can dial *55 and be connected to the wake-up call setup. Note that it is completely okay to have multiple extensions for the same thing. So if I need a second extension, that is again wake-up call setup, there's no problem at all doing that. If I made a mistake or you want to edit the entry that already exists, just click the number and then you can edit it. Click save and it's done. So this is a quick and easy way to make minor extension adjustments as needed. Note that you can also look and see all of the other extensions in the system. So if you want to verify that 101 does in fact call room 101, you can do that. You can again search for a user. So if I want to search for Aaron, I can see that I have a few extensions in here. Um, Note that there are a couple of things in the system called Aaron. One is a user extension. I have a directed voicemail extension, which is not common, and a conference bridge, which is also an express install, not common. Um, just like all the other pages, if you're confused on what some of these things are, as you may have seen before, if I go to add extension, you have a wide list of things available here. If you're confused on what any of these do, or like if I select user extension, what some of the options are, remember that you have a help page that will list all of the extension types and all of the sub options and what they do. The last thing we're going to look at is user extensions, because you may get a request here to change how a user works. So if, for example, I wanted to change the front desk's extension and how it works, I would click on this. And right at the top, of course, I could change the extension, although it's not commonly needed, but you might. But I can also change a few other things, like the timeout. The hotel might find that 25 seconds is not enough time for a call to ring. And so you can change that to 60 or whatever else you might want to change that to. They may also say that it's inappropriate for the front desk to have voicemail at all. So what you can do is you can simply uncheck the voicemail enable, and then you have a new option. Because voicemail is no longer there, we need to know what happens to this call when, if no one picks up. So you can send that to a new extension on the system, or you can simply have it hang up. Whatever is appropriate for the hotel. In this case, if I was going to do hang up, I might do something like this to allow the ring time to be very long. This is more than 2 hours of ring time. And then if you click save, this will effectively mean that no one will ever get hung up on. If someone calls the front desk and it rings, it's going to ring for more than 2 hours, and then hopefully someone will pick up the call, or the caller more likely will get tired and hang up. Maybe just come down to the front desk. The rest of the options here are not commonly needed. The rooms are set up in most cases ahead of time, but if there's some edits to be made here, they can be done through the rooms page. It's best though to work with your phone suite contact if you're going to make a room edit, and make sure that it's what you want to make, and make sure that there's not some easier way to go about it. The other thing that I want to show you is under the phones page. This is where your Yaystar gateway setup is going to be listed. And what's important here is that your Yaystar gateways, the ports and the rooms that are attached to them are all listed here. So where it says line 1, line 2, read port 1, port 2, and normally these would be more filled in, but this is where each room is going to end up on each gateway and which port that it's going to be on. So if changes need to be made here, again, it's best to double check with your phone suite tech to make sure that there's not an easier way to go about this. But if needed, say that there's a bad pair or some weird punch down thing is going on, you can remove a room from a port and move it to a different port if needed, and change things around. Again, we encourage you to work with your phone suite tech if you need to do this, but it is possible to move ports around. Once you do that, obviously you'll need to click save. Either save only or save and reboot. The save and reboot won't actually reboot the gateway. You'll need to do that manually, but you will need to do that for the changes to take effect. Just changing it here doesn't update the gateway automatically. You have to reboot it. Beyond that, the rest of these screens are not commonly used, so call groups, conferences, they're not commonly needed. The CDRs page is just for reporting, so you can see on the CDRs page what system calls are happening and to what extensions. So you can see if there are calls being made from a particular source to a particular source. And this is really handy for troubleshooting your system. So if someone says, hey, the calls aren't working from extension A to B, you can go in here and either just look through the list or search for that particular extension, 301 or whatever it happens to be, and look at that data and see what the system sees is going on. Beyond that, I'll remind you one more time, there is a help page or a help button on every page. Click it to get help for the various sections. And that covers our quick look at some of the common things you'll need to do on a Voiceware Express install. Again, we went to users to change username and other user settings. We looked at the devices page to change the display name on phones. And we looked at the dial plan page to edit users' extensions and other system extensions. Thank you very much for watching, and we wish you the best of luck on your Voiceware Express installations.